Every month, we happily contribute a huge chunk of our salary to our CPF, and that money grows in there until we finally get to use it when we become ORPEX or ORMAs. But sometimes, leaving it on autopilot can quietly cost you money. In this video, I will go through 7 ways to get more out of your CPF. So let's not waste any time and let's jump right in. First up, topping up to your special account. By default, CPF pays a 4% interest. But if you are under 55, your first $60,000 of combined CPF balance earns an extra 1%, which brings the total interest to 5%. But if you are 55 and above, your first 30k earns an extra 2% and the next 30k earns an extra 1%. So assuming you top up $8,000, you'll be earning anywhere from $320 to $480. And that is just year 1. Assuming you are 30 years old this year and you top up $8,000, by the time you turn 55, that will turn into about $21,300 or $27,100 if it is earning the extra 1%. Wholesale. However, the interest is only half of it. The other half is the income tax relief. You can get up to $16,000 in tax relief per year by topping up $8,000 to your own SA and another $8,000 to your loved one's SA or RA. And by loved ones, I don't mean your secret girlfriend, yeah. I mean your parents, parents-in-law, grandparents, grandparents-in-law, and in some cases, your spouse and siblings too. So let's say you are in the 11.5% tax bracket and you make full use of the 16k tax relief. That would mean you just save $1,840 off your tax bill. What lah? But tax reliefs aside, I think that in some ways, choosing to top up to your parents' CPF instead of giving them money directly can also be more beneficial to them. And it's not just because the money gets to grow at the 4% interest, but it's also because every top up permanently boosts their CPF Life payouts forever. As a rule of thumb, for every $2,000 that you top up to their CPF at age 65, it will add about $10 to their monthly payouts. Sounds small, right? But that's already 2 plays of extra Thai fund every single month. But then some of you will be like, top up money to CPF, money go in, cannot come out one. Not quite all. Because when you turn 55, CPF will create a retirement account for you and fill it from your SA first, then your OA, up to the full retirement sum. Then whatever that's left over will get moved to your OA, and you will then be able to withdraw from that. So if you think about it, what this means is that your SA is actually a fixed deposit that pays a high interest and matures when you turn 55. Oh yeah, here's a small tip. Because of how CPF computes interest using the lowest balance of the month, the best time to do top-ups is during the end of the month. Quick pause. While we are on the topic of growing your money, here's something special for you. This National Day, you can get up to $500 in stock coupons when you open a Poems Cash Plus account with Phillip Capital. To qualify, just take on the Smart Park option during sign-up, fund the required amount within 14 days, and keep the money in there for at least 30 days. Poems offer true zero commission on your US stocks and ETFs. That means there's no platform fee, no settlement fee, and no US custody fee either. Not only that, you will also enjoy lifetime free live pricing for the Singapore and US markets. And because Poems also offers 0% sales charge on unit trusts, that makes them one of the cheapest brokers for investing in CPF approved funds. So if you are interested, you can sign up via my link down below. Next, besides topping up to your CPF SA, you can also top up to your CPF MA. And personally, I think MA is the better account to top up to. That's because your MA earns the same high interest and top-ups to it gets the same tax reliefs. Now, just to be clear, this tax relief is shared between both your SA and your MA, yeah? So it is not $8,000 relief for your SA and another $8,000 for your MA. Instead, it is just a single $8,000 relief shared between your SA and MA. Unlike your SA, where you can't touch the money until you become ORPEC or ORMA, your MediSave is the money that you can use right now to pay for a ton of healthcare expenses. For example, outpatient treatments, hospital bills, long-term care, and even your insurance premiums. And it is not just for yourself. You can also use it for your spouse, your children, your parents, your grandparents, and also your siblings. On top of that, once your MediSave reaches the limit, which is the basic healthcare sum, any additional money coming into it, whether it's from your monthly contribution or the interest, will overflow into your SA. This will help to supercharge your SA and help you reach FRS even faster. And once your SA has hit FRS, the money will then overflow to your OA instead, which you can then use to pay for many other things, such as your housing loan, education fees, or even investments. That's why for me, if I had to choose between topping up to SA or MA, I would first top up to MA, simply because it's the one that I can actually use long before 55 years old. Then, once my MA is maxed out, I will top up to my SA instead. Next, did you know that you can also get free top-ups from the government? Yup, and that is via the Match Retirement Savings Scheme and the Match MediSave Scheme. For the Match Retirement Savings Scheme, for every dollar that you top up to your retirement account, the government will match dollar for dollar up to $2,000 a year with a lifetime cap of $20,000. That's easily 100% return before even a single cent of interest. And the double amount will also get the compounds at 4 to 6% while lifting the monthly CPF life payouts for life. As for the Match Retirement Savings Scheme, the government will also match dollar for dollar top-ups to your MediSave accounts up to $1,000 a year. This scheme will run from 2026 to 2030. So good what's the catch? The catch is that it's not for everyone. Instead, this scheme is mainly for those who are less well-to-do and have saved up less than the basic retirement sum in their SA or MA, or less than half the basic healthcare sum. Additionally, the cash top-ups that qualify for these matching grants will not qualify for the income tax reliefs. But more importantly, this scheme applies regardless of who is the one who is topping up. So, for example, if your parents have not met the BRS yet and meet the eligibility criteria, your $2,000 top-up to their CPF RA will turn into a $4,000 top-up. And to check whether you or your loved ones qualify, just head to the cash top-up page. If the person is eligible, you will see a message telling you so. Next, transfer OA money to SA. By doing so, your money will get to earn an extra 1.5% interest. And this is exactly how the famous 1M65 strategy works. The idea came from Mr. Lu, who now runs the 1M65 YouTube channel. He worked out that if you and your spouse each put $130,000 into your SA and MA at age 30, because of the magic of 4% compounding, your combined CPF balances will cross $1 million by 65. However, if that money had just been sitting in both your OA accounts, earning that 2.5% interest, you guys would only reach about $617,000. That's almost 40% short of the $1 million target. Now, of course, while higher interest is always nice, the drawback of this strategy is that this transfer is irreversible. Once the money moves from OA to your SA, you can't undo that. So only do this if you are absolutely sure that you won't need the money before 55. Because with OA, you can pay for a lot of stuff, like your property, your monthly mortgage, and your kids' education fees. Meanwhile, your SA can't. Speaking of money that's hard to get back, here's the voluntary housing refund. The idea is that whenever you use your OA to pay for your property, you are, in a way, borrowing money from yourself, as weird as that may sound. And because of that 2.5% interest, the amounts that you owe yourself will keep growing every year. Then, if you ever sell the place, you have to return that money to your CPF because, later retire not enough money, then how? So what a voluntary housing refund does is let you pay yourself back early instead of you having to wait to sell a property. And by doing so, you get to stop owing yourself money and start earning that 2.5% interest again. Now, before you be like, let's quickly return all the money, the thing you need to consider is also the opportunity cost, or rather, which place will give you the highest return. If, for example, you are able to find somewhere else that pays a 3% guaranteed return, like a high-interest savings account, or if you know that you can invest that money to get a much higher return, then you are probably better off not returning the money, because the goal here isn't to refund for the sake of refunding. It is to have your money sitting at wherever it earns you the most. Otherwise, if you have no better place to park that money, then refunding it and earning that 2.5% interest is hard to beat right now. Next, choose your CPF Life payout age. I don't know if you know this, but by default, CPF Life starts the payout age at 70 rather than 65. And for each year that you defer, you get to boost your monthly payouts by up to 7%. So for example, if you have achieved the FRS and you started your payouts at 65, you will be earning around $1,780 a month. But by deferring the payouts all the way to 70 years old, you will be getting $2,400 instead. What But then, is it actually worth it to defer? Check this out. By starting your payouts early, you'll get an income every month from the age of 65. Meanwhile, if you defer, you have to wait until you turn 70 before you can even touch the money. Now, yes, From 70 onwards, the deferred line does climb faster, but notice that you only break even when you cross 84 years old. So if you want deferring the payoff, you better start exercising every day, eat well, and live a long and healthy life. But there's also something the chart doesn't show. Those 5 years that you are giving up from 65 to 70 are usually your healthiest years. That's when you can still travel around, go for your Thai massages, and keep out with your grandchildren. So $1 at 65 can sometimes be worth a lot more than $1 at 70. That's why for me personally, I would rather start my payouts at 65. But whichever one you choose, just make sure you actually choose. Because if you do nothing, CPF will by default start your payout at 70. Last but not least, invest your CPF OA. While your money in OA happily earns a guaranteed 2.5% interest, if you know how to invest your money, you can easily beat the 2.5% return. Take for example, a world fund like the Amundi Index MSCI World Fund, not financial advice of course, has historically returned around 7 to 8% annualized return over the long term. Now, this is not to say that the fund will steady PPP give 7 to 8% every year, because this is an investment, and investments can be incredibly volatile. Sometimes it might go up 20%, other times it might jibba boom and crash 50%. And it's only when you hold the investments over a period of 10, 20 or even 30 years that the returns start to converge towards the average. Based on CPF's own data, from 2021 to 2025, only about 65% of CPF OA investors managed to beat that 2.5%. That's despite this being one of the strongest runs global equities have ever had. So for the other 35%, they would have been better off just leaving the money in their OA. So unless you are confident in your own investing and have the temperament to diamond hands even when the markets are crashing, that guaranteed 2.5% is probably the safer bet. That said, there is some good news coming. In 2028, CPF is going to launch a new investment scheme called the Lifetime Retirement Investment Scheme. This is meant to be a lower cost and a lot simpler than picking your own funds. So there you have it. Those were the 7 moves you can use to boost your CPF. Anyway, that's all for this video. Hope you found it useful. Like, share and subscribe as I'll be posting new videos every week.